Good morning. I'm going to give everyone another minute before I get started. Can you hear me okay? Right. I'm sorry for the noise in the background. I'm home today, working from home, and my cat is being noisy. Sorry.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Pardon me not using my video today because I am taking 2 antibiotics right now. So yes, but I love to just listen what you said.
Thank you. Yeah, no problem. It's great to even have pictures. I've been teaching to black boxes for almost 2 years now. So okay, I think I'll get started. I am not going to hopefully talk too long. I would rather have dialogue and answer questions. I'm going to share my screen and just kind of talk about the program at my college and how we came to our zero textbook cost degree. So my name is Shannon Turmon, and I teach at West Hills College Lemoore. I'm our education instructor and our faculty coordinator for our Team Teach program. We are in a rural community in the middle of California, literally covered in our area with vineyards and orchards and a naval station. So very small area. We started the hashtag OER revolution back in 2016, and we teamed up with College of the Canyons. So a lot of the OER work that started in California began in our 2 community colleges. It's been amazing to see how far we have come and grown in just a few years. So this is my information and how to get a hold of me. If you have any questions after today, I'll also share that again at the end. So again, our background, we are in the middle of the Central Valley, and we have around 4,000 to 5,000 students, give or take. Before the pandemic hit, we were getting closer. Our last semester, we had 8,000 students. We were so excited. So we're slowly growing, but we're getting there. So again, we are a Hispanic serving institution. We have 43 full-time faculty, and then our 112 adjunct faculty. We're staying right around the same. It's been that kind of level for quite a few years now. I have been at West Hills College Lemoore since 2013. I came on part-time for 2 years before gaining full-time as an instructor on our campus. So it's interesting as I go through the process and share how we created our degree. I actually was not in the classroom at the time. So I was running a Title V grant on our campus when we received our funding and was asked to help support some of the OER components, and it was a big part of what our Title V grant covered for our funds. So it worked out, and we dovetailed quite well. And I worked as our instructional designer to support our faculty in creating OER content. Being that my background was in that area, it helped with our faculty. We looked at what we wanted to do as far as which degrees we were going to start with. Our psychology instructor and our sociology instructor began creating content early on in the process and brought this to our college. We became an Achieving the Dream college, which allowed us the opportunity to continue to support the funds to develop on our campus. Really, we took the opportunity to design a task force, our OER task force, where we were able to really sit down and look at which courses were going to be the best bang for our buck, kind of, as far as developing zero textbook costs for our students. Realistically, we realized at the very beginning that it was going to be a little challenging at first to get some of our degrees, especially our elementary teacher education degree, because most of those courses are general ed courses. And so we met with our general ed faculty, full-time faculty. We talked about opportunities. We are extremely blessed in the fact that we have very forward-thinking instructors, and we have an amazing administrative team that allows us to take those opportunities and look at ways to expand and support our students. So it took us a little while to get to that full process for our elementary ed degree. Here you can see we were hoping to be fully implemented by fall of 18. It took us an extra couple semesters because there wasn't enough content yet. So a lot of development was taking place during this time where we were creating our own content and finding solutions for our faculty. Through that process, though, we were able to fully create our pathway for our education students. So our future teachers are currently looking at zero textbook costs now for their entire 4 semesters with us. This is their pathway, and what we've created within that pathway for our students specifically is that we do have a designated counselor that supports our students in our ed degree. So we meet with them to make sure that we get them into one of our 3 pathways. We have our Tuesday, Thursday pathway, our TGIF pathway, so our students just come to campus on Fridays. And we are beginning the process of creating some online mixed in with just morning pathways so that we can work with our community partners to help our students find jobs in the education field. So through this process, math was not quite there yet. If you know Larry Green, then you know the amazing work that he's done at Tahoe and the process that they've created through my Open Math Lab. In the last 2 years or so, they have just expanded tremendously. And so our math faculty are on board. All of our math instructors are teaching zero textbook cost degrees now. So that was exciting. Most of our English faculty have found specific novels that they use, either that are OER, or we have a classroom library set, so students are borrowing those and not paying textbook costs. We're still working through the kinks on a couple of those courses, but overall, everything else, we've made it to full OER status. We use the OEI rubric through the state that has allowed us to develop all of our courses through Canvas, since that is our LMS system. So when we onboard even new faculty or our adjunct faculty, we've created full OER courses for them that meet all the OEI criteria. So we give them a shell that has all of the OER content for them, and then they can copy and build from there in their own courses. So that was, again, part of our Title V grant and our Achieving the Dream grant that allowed us to do that. Currently, we now have a full-time OER librarian that continues to work with our faculty to help develop and improve our courses and find more content to better support our students. She keeps us up to date when things are changing, or if she finds more current relevant content, then we can add that into our courses. This is basically what we've looked at and where we've started, and the cost savings. Goodness, I think this year we're well over $2 million in cost savings for our students. Each year we got a little better. This year we are at 65% zero textbook cost on our campus. We're hoping to be at 72 next year, and then again to continue in the next 5 years to be 100% zero textbook cost on our college campus. So I think the stars aligned for us when the funding came in at the right time in the state of California to begin the process. And then the fact that our administration has just been so supportive of our faculty and all the development that we do. We do have summer Innovate trainings where we continue to support our faculty in the development. We work together in teams to continue to look at opportunities for our students and developing any other coursework that needs to be completed. So we continue to work through that process through the summer and so forth. So again, looking at how to create a zero textbook cost degree for your college or for your students is to find champions. We worked really hard to find our champions and our students, and within individual courses, it did take a while to get to all those supports that were in place, but there are so many options out there now. There's so many web pages and websites through CCC OER, the OER Commons. There's many courses that have been created and that are available in the Canvas Commons as well that you can pull in and review for course content. So it continues to grow, and the opportunity is there. So we focused at the beginning with our faculty that were not certain that this was going to be the best option for students. In the beginning, again, the content the rigor that they felt needed to be there for the college level wasn't quite there in some courses. It's definitely gotten there, but what's been so exciting is not just what's getting there, but what we're creating and what we're developing, and the fact that we have the opportunity to peer review with each other and look at what's being developed to support students, not just in our area or in our subject matter, but the fact that the content is so relevant and current that our students can truly make connections to that. So the learning is just so much more optimal for them. What else we've noticed, and what I've been able to do as an education instructor, is be able to share how OER works with our students and be able to allow them to also create content and give them the opportunity and the power to use that for their learning. So I'll cover that in just a few minutes, but we joke, but we did use peer pressure for some of us with our faculty. It's like, well, we're all using this. We just need this one course to go zero textbook cost, and the entire degree is zero textbook cost. So we had to work with some faculty that weren't quite on board yet, but we got there. Again, so looking at what the opportunities provided was the redesign and instructional approach for our courses. All of our faculty have totally flipped the classroom and what they're doing now. It's made time to optimize what we're doing in the classroom, to customize what we're teaching, to find content in our discipline that really focuses in on what students truly need to understand, what they need to master to move on. It allowed our faculty to really look at their student learning outcomes and determine whether or not those were truly measurable, and then to develop that content-based learning from our outcomes, instead of saying, here's my textbook and this outcome fits here, right? So we're doing the opposite, which really helped our faculty to say, wow, I didn't realize I probably should have been teaching that differently, or I should have empowered students this way. It's really transformed the teaching and learning process on our campus. And as a K-12 teacher coming into community college, it has been so exciting to see so many faculty say, I did this today. I've never taught this way before. I let students do the teaching. It was amazing. We talked about this. They built in these components. They brought this to class. It was awesome. Like, just the ahas and the excitement that they're bringing has been so wonderful to see. So we're continuing to be committed to our students' learning and fostering that growth. And this process has been able to do that for us. So I just broke down a quick phase for you of what we've done and how quick and easy that was to create. Just looking at our objectives and the curriculum and the instruction, then going into looking at materials and finding what's supportive. If you're struggling with finding OER content that helps pull in what you're working on and your outcomes, there's not just resources as far as online opportunities, but reach out to me. My OER librarian loves to find resources. She loves a good challenge. So if there's something you're looking for, her and I sit down all the time. We meet on Saturdays because it's fun. We love looking at and finding new content, and her and I will Zoom together for an hour here and there just to find new content. And when she gets a new idea, she'll even text me. We'll get on Zoom and look through it and figure out where we can place things. And so it's been really exciting. And hopefully, as we continue to have funding coming through in the state of California right now, the opportunity to develop and bring on support staff for OER development is coming for sure. but really focusing in on those authentic experiences is the next step. So we took that content and said, how can we create that experience in the classroom for students to be more engaging, to grasp onto new concepts, to be able to kind of become the facilitator in the room and let the students gravitate towards the learning and the design of what that should look like. Focusing in on open-ended critical thinking questions. That can be something that we can forget to do if we're lecturing or if we're reading content or looking specifically at a textbook. This allows that opportunity to really challenge students in a new manner. And then being able to monitor and get feedback from students. What do you think about this content today? Or, you know, doing surveys in our Canvas courses. We make sure we include those often. So we get feedback from students on how they feel their learning is going, but how they feel the content is supporting their learning. And then continuing to showcase student works and highlighting what they're doing is always important. Again, we have student viewpoints constantly. We try to get our students to bring in what they're learning and what they feel has been the biggest benefit for utilizing their OER textbook. Again, in the Central Valley where we're from, our area is very rural. We don't have the opportunity for our students to be able to afford a lot of textbooks. So being able to receive financial aid and not have to spend all of their financial aid on textbooks is just been a game changer for so many of our students. So we're excited to see where that continues to go. Our faculty, you know, at first it was funny that we did have some pushback, and then it's been growing, and what they feel has been some of the biggest components for them. Our psychology instructor, and watching how he flipped his classroom and engaged students in a way that he had never done before, really was exciting to see and hear his responses. So the poor Wi-Fi solution, we are still working on that in our area. So our Central Valley area, I don't know where you're from, Catherine, but we're getting there. We did hotspots for a lot of our students, but we were able to amp up our Wi-Fi. Our students, even if they are even online, tend to come to campus because we have so much support in place for tutoring that's free for our students on campus, that they still were coming to campus. And so we're still working on that. So, oh, okay. Yes, for sure. Yeah, our parking lots, we amped up the Wi-Fi in all of our parking lots. We're actually out in the country. We're not even in town. So we were able to bring some of our Wi-Fi towards town for them. And then we've been working with our County Office of Ed partners to support the Wi-Fi in the communities. So yes, same thing, we're in the same boat there. So as we continue to find solutions, I'll share, but we've been trying really hard to get there. But that's basically what we have been doing within our campus, are trying to ensure that our students get their best education that we can provide them with the little cost that we have to have for them through the spending for them. So I always like to end with students. I try to put our students into everything we do because that's the reason we're here. And so again, any questions that you have, that's basically how we started. We were so thankful that we got those grants to begin our process, but there's so much in place and so many opportunities now. So yes, hi Carol. I've been working closely with quite a few partners from FPU. I'm also a Sunbird, so go Sunbirds. Yes. Does anyone have any questions? On design, I can tell you a couple of things about how my students use OER in the classroom now, but any questions? You can unmute, ask away, put in the chat, whatever you're comfortable with.
So we did that process at Gavilan. We started that process with a grant about 1.5 years ago. Well, I guess 2 years ago now. And we experienced the same challenges getting, first, like putting the courses together, about what might be a good pathway, and then convincing teachers to adopt. They were enthusiastic, but they just didn't have the technical skills, right? And one of the, where is it College of the Canyons? The professional development that they put together to help instructors transform their classes into kind of more robust online spaces was wonderful, but I didn't see the same structure to actually put together an OER textbook. So I'm curious about that.
So how we started was my OER librarian and I went through and we had to find small components. We created originally a PDF that students can download or use within Canvas, and we embedded components that met the criteria for our course content. That's where we started, gosh, 2-3 years ago now. Since then, there have been, I think, 3 or 4 options. I use the Foundations of Education textbook through Lumen. There's some components there. There's 2 versions. One is New York, and that's the Foundations of Education Part 2 book. But the first original book has the focus more on the outcomes that we have to cover for that Intro to Ed course. So for this year.
Is it possible to put links to your examples, and then
Yes.
Thank you.
Let me pull them up.
And then can I ask, while you're doing that, are there funding sources for paying teachers to do that you would recommend just off the top of your head?
So that's what we used our grants for. Our faculty were provided a stipend for creating an entire OEI course. So they had to go through and develop a Canvas course shell that met all the OEI requirements. So it was quite robust, but it was a very decent stipend. So the funding right now, do you know if you're going to be receiving any of the funding that's coming in through the state of California right now?
I actually don't know.
Okay.
I'm just unaware.
There was just Newsom just announced quite a bit of money that will go out to California community colleges for OER work. So that is the work that we've been doing. I will also, if you email me, I'll get you in contact with my OER librarian too, and she will be able to give you the contact of somebody in your area that will be able to support as well. We also run training for community colleges often. So part of, we've been the TAP provider for the state of California for quite a while. So yeah, so there's a lot of opportunity there. And are you teaching education or child development?
I teach intro to education, then teaching reading and writing. So
Okay.
those 2 courses, yeah.
Okay, awesome. So if you just contact me, I will even send you what we're using. And then I don't know if you've been part of our EDU COP through our CCC TPP network.
I don't think so.
Okay, so we've been meeting monthly up and down the state of California since the pandemic hit. I'm co-leading with a good friend who I met through Zoom. I get to meet her in person finally this semester. We've been working together for 2 years now, running the education cooperative for the state of California, for the California community colleges. So we've been meeting monthly, and her and I went through and created a Canvas Commons course that has all of the virtual fieldwork hours for you already in there. And all you have to do is put them right into your LMS system. So email me and I'll get all of that to you. So yes, it's been a crazy change. I know someone asked about ECE connections and the websites for ECE, and Jennifer Paris is here. I'm sorry, Jennifer, to call you out, but I am only an education instructor. I don't work in our child development program at all, but Jennifer is the OER guru for ECE, and she has done some phenomenal work. So I would love for you to share any resources with us, Jennifer.
I'll put a link in the chat. Sorry, I'm not camera ready this morning, but I didn't want to miss out on what you were going to talk about. So I'll put a link in the chat to a summary document that I've been compiling and keep updated in a Google Doc. And then it has links to lots and lots of different places. Sometimes it's the same resource in lots of different places. And then if you've got questions, my email is all over that Google Doc. And if you want to connect with me, I can help you find OER for specific courses to meet your needs.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. Yes. Jennifer and I have never met in person either, but I've gotten to get to know her a little bit over the last year through all of these Zoom meetings. So it's been a wonderful making all of these connections. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Absolutely.
We'll continue to develop, and I'm actually working with two of my partners that I've gotten to know over the last few years as being we were running the education strong workforce program in the Central Valley for our region. And so we provided support for developing education pathways in this area. And when we did that, I got to meet with like Bakersfield City College, Clovis Community, Fresno City. So I am working with the education instructor at Fresno City and Clovis Community, and we are in the process of creating an entire full, robust OEI course for Intro to Ed that once we're finished, we'll publish it to the Commons. All of the OER work will be included. We're going to be completing modules that will have test banks and all of those components developed. We were hoping to finish it over the summer. It did not happen. I had a feeling it was going to take us a little longer. So we'll be developing and working over the semester, and we're hoping to have it out this year for the 2021 school year. So we'll keep you posted. So yeah, it is a big undertaking, and working together has been great to get different perspectives. And so looking forward to that. Yes, I will. So I have to say, I think the biggest component for supporting faculty and getting faculty on board is to get the students to share what they're learning in any courses that you are offering that are OER. I think it's shifted the teaching perspective tremendously, and the learning perspective for our students. So being able to have that opportunity to get those stories highlighted from students really helps impact the process. And make sure that you're meeting with your counselor that works in that area often. I think without having a designated counselor, it would have been a little more time consuming for us to be able to get that pathway in place so quickly. And what we have done with our pathway as we were creating was meeting with our university partners. So our pathway transfers to CSU, to UC, and to Fresno Pacific, as well as Grand Canyon University, where we work with a lot of our university partners to ensure that we're meeting all of the criteria needed for our students to transfer. So it's one pathway, but we offer that pathway for our students in groups based on where they're at. Yeah. Yes, we invite our administration team often to meetings. We have administrators that we have worked on getting them to be part of our OER committee. And I think that was huge. We have student ambassadors on our OER committee. So having a wide range there has made a huge difference. So our admin team are hearing the student voices in those monthly meetings. They're seeing the progress that's happening with faculty, the forward thinking that's coming into play, the engagement that's happening in the classroom through students being empowered to develop. I have 2 ed courses right now on our pathway that I teach. So the Intro to Ed course, and we created a critical thinking in education course that meets that critical thinking requirement for transfer. And that course, I specifically have students developing content in. So I had a couple of students create websites last year that they openly licensed and created for different support tools for elementary students. And so we worked with our K-12 partners and shared those websites. And so they're using those websites now with their elementary students. So talk about empowering, and when my students go to apply for a job, they can talk about what they got to do with OER and the fact that they were able to help empower elementary students through that process and create growth. So little stories like that, constantly empowering your students to create that, making a quick video of them demonstrating that whatever they've created, and then sharing it with your administration team and sharing it with your partners, sharing it with other instructors, maybe in your pathway that might not be fully on board yet, or components that they can see. Because for some faculty, it was, I've been doing this for so long and I know it works, I don't want to change. And change is hard. We all know change is hard. It's just human nature. So being able to see opportunity for that small change that is not a lot of work, that allows students to grow so quickly and give them so much power of their own on their own learning, just shifted tremendously for us. So yes, thank you, Jennifer. I was just looking at some other websites, and that is one that's definitely a great one. I think I've been working a little bit on some updates too, and Rosemary is here, and she also just created a new education course that because she did such a phenomenal job, I shared it with my admin, and he said, you can do that. So I'll be working on that this fall to add a new education course to my pathway. But the only rule is that it has to be OER. So I'm looking forward to getting going on that and working with my OER librarian to continue to develop. So I'll be bugging you later, Rosemary. It's been just phenomenal. It's so funny, we were so worried about going online and all that was going to come with being home. And my students really did pretty well as far as engaging in the online components, because the OER allowed for that instruction to look so different that the opportunity for them to still demonstrate mastery and show what they know was phenomenal. And I think in a traditional setting or traditional textbook where that might not be the case, we wouldn't have seen that as quickly with that shift. But definitely this conference has been wonderful to see everyone coming together and continuing to come together. So hoping that we can continue to provide and build services from there. So, but I think, yes, you'll have to work on helping get admin on board, but start looking at funding sources that are available. And then if you have questions on funding sources, I can get you information on options and what's available in the state of California right now through my OER committee. So that's part of our task, is to continue to meet monthly to see where funds are coming from, to see opportunities to build in for more development. Like I said, our goal next year, 72% zero textbook cost, and then hopefully 80 by the following year. And then, our goal is that 5-year plan to be 100% OER for our college. So I can tell you my entire nursing staff is almost there right now, which is huge because of all of the different regulations in the state of California that they have to do for their licensing. They've been quite diligent, and we have worked very hard with the State Department to ensure that everything that they are doing meets the criteria and the roles that need to be covered. So our nursing students won't even be paying textbook costs by the end of next year. So I think part of that was peer pressure. And part of that was a little bit of jealousy. I think once our faculty realized all the exciting opportunity they had through developing their own content and through finding content online, it's really shifted the entire mindset of our college. We did start small. It did, we've been on this road for over 5 years now, and it took us a while to get there, but it's coming. So Oh, going through and reading the chats. Any other questions? I didn't expect that to go so quickly, but I was hoping to have some more dialogue. Is anyone using OER right now on their campus? And a couple of you might be.
Hi, Shannon. It's Becky Roth from Taft College. Sorry, I'm not showing my face. I've had a crazy time with computers this week, so getting everything back up and going. But anyway, our CJA program is fully OER, and then we're working on it in early childhood. So that's why I'm so excited about all of this. I have been going to some of the COP meetings, and so I'm really glad you're going to continue those, because I was kind of jealous about your Saturday meetings. I thought that's what I need to do. I need to sit down with somebody and just look and play and explore, and I love to do that. But anyway, so yeah, I will definitely be at the next one. And I know that other discipline faculty are working on it on campus, and so we're really just starting to take off. But I appreciate everything you're doing, and it's very helpful.
Well, maybe I'll have my OER librarian be a guest speaker at one of our COP meetings.
That would be awesome.
Okay.
I would love to know more about that, because Cal State Bakersfield just asked BC and TC, Taft College, because we're their feeder schools, to join them on that grant, on a grant for the OER money that's coming down. And so we're at TC, there's only 2 of us. And so my VP is very concerned about me overdoing it. And so I'm trying to advocate to let me do that. But anyway, so yeah, we know the money's there, and the librarian would be really, really helpful. I'd like to learn more about that.
Yeah, I definitely talk to her and see if she'll be a guest speaker for COP. That'd be awesome.
Thank you.
Shannon, can you share any information you have about the Microhubs for the OER and how that fits into sharing maybe between colleges, between community colleges? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, so I think we probably would have never gotten to that point if it wasn't for the pandemic. And I think that's what's really pushed a lot of the sharing and developing overall of where we've gotten to this point. So I think that it just became a collaboration space, and then the development happened. And so it just depends on, I think.
But I don't know if everybody knows about the Microhubs. To me, it seemed like a kind of a nice, but it's kind of hidden resource.
Our COP meetings. So I think, is that what you're talking about? Where are the Microhubs from?
OER. So OER set up. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and yeah, I'm not doing that work right now because I went back to the classroom. So yeah, they're setting, and that's going to continue to grow. I think I need to ask like where they're at in the process, but I don't know how to access them because I haven't had to be a part of that. So
right. So it's like hidden. It's like it's hard to find, but every community college has a micro hub within OER. So they've set it up. So, and all of our colleges for the whole state are there. And within that, yes, Kathleen, sorry.
Oh,
Kathleen's raising her hand.
I'm sorry, Kathleen. I just realized it blends in with your background. I didn't see the hand up.
That's okay. Thank you. I have been trying to switch my courses to OER since the Zero Textbook Conference at College of the Canyons a couple of years ago. And I've had a very difficult time finding education-specific resources. Everything seemed to focus on child development or early childhood. And I'm thrilled to see this foundations page right now, because this will allow me to get rid of one of my textbooks, at least for the Education 1 class. Additionally, something that I've run into, and I don't know if it's specific to our college or if it's district-wide or statewide even, I like to use video supplements for everything that I do, because I think students need that type of, combination of reading and seeing things and hearing different perspectives. The videos that we have in our library, and students have commented on this, are pathetically old. And I keep saying, well, why can't you find anything more recent And there has to be stuff more recent because I'm looking at videos from the 90s, which is like, come on, things have changed so much since then. So do you know of any resources? I mean, I use TED Talks, I find things like that that I use, but something that might be in the library or that I could talk to our librarian about. And I've even spoken with him, and he's tried to help me find OERs for education to almost to no avail. I found a few bits and pieces, but not as much as I'd like.
I agree with you on that one. So have you seen our Commons course yet?
I think I glanced at it initially when you were creating it. I think it was last summer when we were first starting with that. I'm gonna put the link in there. Okay.
What I've been doing is I updated again last semester, and I made a second version and I updated it there. When I update it, it's great because it doesn't change it. It just makes the updates in the Commons. So cool. There's some new videos and new components there, and it's crazy. I'll tell you, they're not fully OER. Most of them are YouTube stuff, but if you cite them appropriately, and then you're okay as far as it being in your own classroom. That's acceptable because you're not publishing it and sharing it out. It's okay to use in your own classroom.
Okay.
So that is okay.
All right.
So what I included with that is the updates in the videos, but my students are finding amazing videos and content, and they send it to me, and then I update there. I use what they give me often. So again, I'm empowering our students, right? So
yeah. Do you solicit it from them? Like, just do you ask them, find me a video on X, Y, or Z, or just as part of a project?
Well, so because we are doing the virtual fieldwork experience right now.
Are we still doing that, by the way?
Yes, and it just got cleared for 21-22. We're good to go through this academic year.
So we're still watching those videos.
Yeah, unless your students are allowed to be placed somewhere, because in our area we still can't place. Okay. Well, I have 2 country schools that are allowing me, but most of my schools are not.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but no, the CSU just approved it. So we just it was just posted on our Facebook page.
Okay.
So, Catherine, do you have Facebook?
No.
Okay.
Oh, I don't
either.
Oh, well, we have a Facebook page, and actually it's on I think it's on LinkedIn as well. I think, right, Kimberly? Kim, am I right?
I believe so. Let me see if I can find it.
I think Bobby updates it for us there too, doesn't she?
Can you share that?
Yeah, I'll find it.
Okay, Kim will share the LinkedIn. I'm not as good on LinkedIn as she is. So
either. And
it's crazy. Like, so Kim and I just started working together this last year through all this too. And it's wonderful. Like, I get random text messages and saying hello, and it's so awesome to meet new people in these experiences. So
one of the things that I shared in the chat was the link to the OER Community Hub for California community colleges. And so Gavilan, we tried to use this when we were starting this process for ourselves. But I believe, I'm not certain, but I believe that as a community, we can share resources within the Microhub, within this hub space here.
Yes.
So, and we can search like right within it. So is this a weird resource, or is that?
No, that's what, yeah, now that I'm seeing it, it's been a while since I've had to do that. Like, that's why we have a full-time OER person. She does, she puts everything there for us. We don't do any of that work. Yeah. So I guess part of the component is to fight for an OER librarian. And I'll tell you, she's been part-time. She only worked 10 hours a week for us for about 4 years. So thank you, Kim. Yes, Becky, me too. Like they share videos, Pinterest pins, like, yes, just, we do. Yeah. Oh, you created a curriculum module for them. That's awesome. That's a good idea.
Cool.
That's a great idea, right? So then they can, and they have the access to those pages, and they can put in their own information. They can copy and paste it in there. Oh, I love it. So my students, when they find something, they'll send it to me. Can I use this towards my hours? Yes, I'll add it to the module for you. But that's a better step. I'll just create for them to do that for us. Right? So.
And Shannon, piggybacking off of what you stated about getting to know people through this whole process, I want to encourage everyone to just continue to connect, because truly I have made some of the greatest friendships and relationships professionally that I have ever had in my entire life. And they just continue to grow. So keep connecting. Also, you might be interested, they're doing the ECE co-op is actually having a coffee chat where they're going to talk about going out into the field and what we're doing, what's happening with practicum and the need to be. And I know that it's ECE directed, but you might be able to make some connections with some people who are both in the ECE and the EDU college classrooms there. Yes. So go ahead.
Yes, yeah. We actually are presenting at 12:30 today for this conference, where we're going to talk about our COPs. So we'll be meeting to share like some highlights, but really we feel like we've already shared what we've done, but we're still finding new people that didn't know that we've been doing this work, but we're going to highlight where we're going this year with our COPs. So I think that'll be really good for a lot of people to be able to get the opportunity to jump in and continue to move forward with us. Yeah. Thank you, Jennifer. Yeah, cool for Ed. I should have probably pulled my librarian for a few more resources before I presented today, but Renee asked me just to focus on the pathway and how we got faculty on board to create content and to find content. So if anybody is going to be at CCC AOE in September, we will be presenting other components for OER and how to develop on your own and how to find the appropriate content. So excited to do that. I'll get to meet Kim in person. I'm so excited. Awesome, you guys. I love hearing what you're doing and getting new ideas from each other. It's the best way to continue to grow and to support our students. So there's lots of opportunity out there. I did throw in the chat again a couple of other Illumin textbooks that we're using. And we'll continue to find resources. Actually, I think I already sent you this one, Rosemary, but I'll actually post it as well. But let me find it. There is another. There. Oh, this one is educational psychology as well. There's some great components here. So let me share this one with you. And then I think those are the three main online resources that I've used. The PDF we had to download, so we only embed components of that within the textbook. But I'm excited to continue developing the OEI course. So if you are on those monthly EDU meetings, you'll hear our progress and you'll know when that's available. So. Any other questions today? Thoughts before we head out in a minute? Most of our work for our education degree actually began in 2006 through the teacher pipeline program where the funding was very small, and we were partnered with Renee Marshall when she was at College of the Canyons, and there were 10 community colleges. San Francisco was there, LA, some of the colleges, Cerritos was there, and we got about, I think there was us and there was $100,000 when we first started out. Well, we split it evenly, and all colleges got $10,000. Didn't matter the size of their program. And so in the last 15 plus years, anytime that we come together and we get funding, we split it evenly through the colleges. So it's been amazing to see the work that we started out with so many years ago, and how we're continuing to support and grow in those community colleges now in the different directions. So it's very exciting. But keep an eye out, though, if you find a resource. We'll work on finding a space. I'm in the process of working on that right now with my other partner for our COP work. So we'll work on creating a public space where we can share resources for everyone. Oh, great. I'm glad to know that that was helpful. It's important to know. Any other thoughts before we head out? Thank you, Rosemary. I appreciate all that you do, and I am so excited for the work that you are doing at Questa. I look forward to continuing to partner with you.
Yes, thank you for everything and for sharing this with us today. We really appreciate it. And this is one of the major ways that we can open up this field to more students. So definitely, it's such important work right now.
I feel for sure that we need to do that. So I am going to stop the recording.